What's going on, guys? Happy Saturday. This is sort of a unexpected, just jumping on live here because there's been a lot of stuff going on over the past week, and I wanted to shoot more of a specific video around really two or three stories, specifically Disney delaying moving 2,000 jobs and what does that mean? Also, kind of like some insights that I can give you there, having worked with a lot of the Disney folks relocating, and now maybe some of them that aren't. Also, what's going on in a real estate market? Because if you're looking to buy or sell, having really up to date data is going to help you guys. So I know we only have a few people watching. This is really going to be for even people watching the replay. So probably only going to be a 10 or 15-minute live. I usually go for an hour, and we'll do that again next week and kind of dig into that. But do me a favor, if you haven't watched any of our videos before, make sure you hit the like button for me and maybe subscribe to our channel as we're putting out new videos every single week around like life in Orlando, insights into like the local coffee shops and the real estate market and the new developments and just kind of like all the cool stuff you'd ever really want to know with theme parks, real estate, and life in Orlando. But yeah, there we go. I'm back. Morning, Disdeb. Good to see you. So let's talk about a few things here. Let me just go on. I'm going to let's see, share screen. Nope. Boom, 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 boom. Hope you guys are doing well on this amazing Father's Day weekend. I'm not sure what you guys are up to, but take care of Dad this weekend. It's a big week. What's going on? I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very, very much. Shout out to Orlando with the latest NFT property for sale. What's going on? Yeah, I did disappear. It's my fault. I hit backwards here. Let me try to, for whatever reason, it's not letting me share my screen over here. Let's do this. Share window. Boom. Share. There we go. All right. So first story up is Disney pumps the brakes on plans to move 2,000 jobs from California to Orlando. And let's kind of take a minute right there and talk a little bit about it. They were never going to move 2,000 actual people from California to Orlando. They were going to try to convince 2,000 people that had jobs there, and then ultimately would say, hey, listen, if you don't want to move to Orlando, that's okay. We'll give you an amazing severance package, or maybe try to relocate you somewhere else within the company. And so from what I hear, only like 40 to 50% of the people that were offered decided that they were going to actually move. And so this kind of created an issue with talent around Disney. If you've ever been to the parks lately, they already have cast member shortages a lot of different places. And so to relocate that many people over here, it's a big undertaking. And to do it within like 18 months seemed to be a really big deal. You add in like the stock prices down, they're building $1 billion campus here. They're trying to relocate people with talent. The stock is in the, all of these kind of different things made it seem like 18 months to me was not a realistic expectation. Now, you read online in the different blogs, some people will say it's political with Ron DeSantis. Other people will just say that it's more financial and the market's doing what they're doing. That just made right now the not perfect time to do that. And so, but still, you're bringing 2,000 high paying jobs to Orlando. That's a good thing. Now, there are a bunch of people that have already made the move from California to Orlando. And Disney has said, hey, if you've moved here already, that's totally fine. You can stay. You have your job. We're going to get you working right now. And they're also putting out that, hey, if you said that you were going to come and now you don't want to, you have basically a year or so to make that decision. If you said that you don't want to come and now you do, you have a year to make that decision. And so things are sort of up in the air there, but the fact that they're still moving forward with the campus, they're still bringing jobs here, it's just sort of delayed. And so it looks like 2026 is when they're actually going to be requiring everybody who's making the move. And if they say no, then they're going to be starting to hire from all over the country, other engineers that can move into the Imagineering department. And so that's what I know in terms of what you can see online, but then also from my own experience working with a ton of cast members at this point. So hope you guys are doing well. Let's talk about a couple other things. Hey, Marina from Winter Garden, Florida. So the market's crazy, right? It was crazy because we had 10 buyers for every new listing that hit the market for the longest time. And then interest rates started going up the way that they have. And, here's what's going on. So this is Fred. If you've not seen this before, Fred is like the St. Louis Fed. And so here's what's been going on over the past, whatever, 40 years for real estate, mortgage costs, interest rates. 1981, they were at 16%. In the 2000 bubble, they got to almost 7%. In the last recession, they got into the sixes. And then right now we're hitting right at that 5.78, almost 6%, pretty much everywhere you're looking. And so what does that mean to you as a home buyer? Well, over the past year, a $400,000 house now costs you $800 more per month. Now, is that going to take a lot of buyers out of the market? Yeah, it is. And so instead of 10 buyers for every listing, we have 2 buyers for every listing. And you look at the number of homes for sale, and this is something that love to show you guys. You look for the number of homes for sale. This is kind of our market watch 7-day average. This is the first time I've seen this in probably 3-4 years, where you have more new listings hitting the market than actually went pending. So that means that for every 1.2 houses hits the market, you have 1 buyer for that. So now it's not even the 2 to every 1 buyer. It's kind of like the 1 for 1. And that's actually a really healthy thing. The Fed raised interest rates so that we would slow down inflation and that home prices wouldn't still keep going crazy and all the other kind of stuff. It's going to cause a short-term recession. That's like inevitable at this point. But keep in mind, there were still 1,000 houses that sold in Orlando over the past 7 days. This doesn't include new construction. So things are still doing well. It's just not crazy. And it's going to cost you more to buy a house than it did 6 months ago. And yet there's still a lot of people moving here. And so I guess I just want to bring some like level-headedness to all of this. I've not said that things were going to go crazy forever and ever. I hoped to God that they wouldn't. But based on this data, things will probably still increase in pricing through the end of the year. And then, who knows from there. And that's really every economic output right now. You've got the stock market crashing, the crypto market crashing, but the real estate market is still kind of just humming along, just not as fast as it was. So what's going on, everybody? I'd love to answer a couple questions, hang out for maybe 5 or 10 minutes just to kind of hang out. Yeah, buddy, I wasn't planning on streaming today, but I was just thinking about a lot of these 2 big stories that I needed to get a video out and talk to people about, bring some level-headedness to the story and go from there. Rolando says, good morning. What's your take on Metro West? Too many apartments, homes are selling well, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, Metro West was like what Horizon West was, I feel like 15 years ago. Metro West was like the place to live. And the fact that it's Windermere adjacent and some of the areas have pretty good schools, like it's a good location. And you've got some older houses that can, use some TLC, but the pricing is still really good. So yeah. What's going on, Nick? You love the channel. Thank you very much. Thinking to move to Orlando from Wisconsin. Well, you'll enjoy the weather slightly better, I'm sure. Robert, the median home price in Orlando right now is just under 400,000. It's like 386, I believe it was what it was as of May. And so for a single family house. And obviously you've got homes. Check this out. This was kind of an interesting one, Robert. I was looking at like the pending sales here. And then what were some of the price points? The low end, you've got like 1-2 bedroom condos in the hundreds, which a lot of these come with really high homeowners associations. So keep that in mind. But then on the high end, you've got some of these really expensive houses. And I found this to be very interesting that the luxury market is still doing really, really well. You've got this house was over in Keens Point, 6.5 million, only on the market for 3 weeks. Done, right? Another one over at Lake Butler Sound. Love this neighborhood. 5.7 million, only on the market for 35 days, 22 days. So it's kind of wild to see some of these houses that all over the price points are still selling really, really quickly. Yeah. Disdeb. So I'm not sure if you reached out to me on Instagram, but somebody did about this. No, it sounds like it's going to be like January before they're going to start selling again. They're hoping that they rectify all of the situations like in the fall. Although I drove New Hartzog the other day and there was still a ton of people working on that road. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that by the fall, they've got it all cleared up. You know what? So this is an interesting comment, Raz, is like, so our home is supposed to be delivered in December. We're hoping interest rates steady out. We're super hopeful. So every mortgage company that I'm talking to, like I'm talking to VPs of like United Wholesale Mortgage and Quicken and all Bank of America, and they're all kind of anticipating that we'll probably have a 6-month run of kind of this where we're at, and then eventually settle back down into that fives somewhere. And really that 4 to 5% is probably the sweet spot for the economy. But it'll all be dependent on how things go. Here's an interesting one more story, and then I'm probably going to wrap up a little bit here. Real estate, let's see, new housing starts. So new housing starts were way down. Like, here's the problem. Like, we still have a housing inventory issue, and yet U.S. housing starts declined to the lowest levels in more than a year. May construction fell to 1.55 million pace after April surge. Builder backlogs remain elevated even as sales decrease. And so a lot of these builders are pulling back kind of like what they can keep up with. New housing starts based on supply chain, based on a lot of different things, have really slowed down. And so we're still having this like multiple thing here. You've got a lot of people that have 2, 3, 4% interest rates that maybe would sell, but they don't want to sell their 3% market and then go a 3% interest rate home and go up to a 6%. So that's going to keep a lot of homes off the market. You've got a lot of hedge funds and people on Wall Street buying up real estate left and right still. They're really still very bullish on the single family market. And so you're taking those houses off the market because they're buying them and they're not flipping them, they're renting them out. And then you've got these new home sales are still kind of slow. And so I don't feel like the real estate market is going to see this massive shift. I just don't. The demand is still there. The supply is still not. And so that's going to keep things kind of even keel. It's just going to take more buyers out of the market if you can't afford a 6% interest rate. So anyways, that's my my take. Yeah, man, I wasn't planning on it either. I woke up and I was just like, I kind of feel like I should talk a little bit about these stories. I didn't get a video out for Saturday, and I thought going live and just kind of talking about a couple stories and hanging out with you guys would be a lot of fun. Yeah, man. Jerome Powell also says, like, you've got Biden who says that a recession's not coming, but in all indications, we're in one. And then Jerome's all over the place. So I'm not really sure what to trust out of any of those guys at this point. And that's not really a political statement. I mean, it sounds like one, but I'm not a political guy. Do you know if I were to buy a lot in Bellicolino, would I have to pay the HOA and club membership dues before building? Yeah, I believe you have a little bit of a respite, but then you have to start paying the HOA dues for sure as soon as you buy the lot. That's why it's almost better to build with somebody that's like already under construction, get them to kind of offset some of those costs until closing. But I think they've got like a 2-year, like you buy a lot and then you have to start building within 2 years, and those HOA dues are going to be right away. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome from the Michigan, from the mitten down to Orlando. Oh man, greetings from Bay Area. Great channel. Love when you shoot my backyard at Ivanhoe Village. I love Ivanhoe. That whole like the Hall on Yard, or not Hall on Yard. Is that right? Yeah, Hall on Yard. Down over in Ivanhoe. That whole like little area, that strip, those little bars opening up, little just like restaurants, mom and pop. There's a meat market over there. As you know all of this stuff. But if you're watching for the first time, I love the little downtown pockets of Orlando and seeing them start to thrive more and more. It's very cool. All right, so Mandy, you'll have to watch the replay. I talked a little bit about Disney and the Lake Nona area, but it's interesting because over in the Lake Nona area, you had like basically 0 homes on the market to now Craft Homes and Dream Finders are starting to flood the market with their spec homes, which still won't be done, some of them for 18 months. And so if you're looking online, it can be really confusing because you think there's all of these new listings coming, but they're still just dirt. And they're still sort of like, hey, this is what's going to go on the lot eventually. It's more confusing than ever, but more and more builders are raising their hands saying, hey, like the market's not as white hot as it was. We want to work with agents. And so my whole team, like we're actually dividing up the city and going like builder by builder, looking at incentives, looking at who's working through like actual spec homes versus like speculation, different there. And so, yeah, it's been fun. Honestly, I find like in a market like this, there's actually more opportunity than ever because agents that have just got in the market are freaking out. They don't know what to do. And I've been doing this for like, I don't know, I sound old saying this, but like 15, 16 years now. And I see opportunity to help more people than ever, which I'm excited about. Yeah, the Parade of Homes is going on today. There's a lot of beautiful builder specs out there. Really, really cool stuff. Is the Orlando downtown skyline going to get taller buildings? They're not. So they're really because of where the Orlando Orlando Business Airport is, they can only build them so high. And so really what you see downtown in terms of height, I think there's one more building that maybe got an extra 4 or 5 floors approved. But it'll pretty much be a mid-rise downtown for the near future, unless they get rid of it. Hey, I'm moving to Winter Park in August. Your channel's been a huge help. Thanks, Richard, man. I appreciate you watching. So again, I didn't plan on this being like a full hour long live, but for those of you that jumped on here, the 100 plus or so of you, thank you so much. If you have come across this video for the first time, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back next Saturday. On this coming Tuesday, we've got an update for Celebration. I did a video on a $3 million house there, as well as an update on Island Village and some other stuff. Always some fun times hanging out in Celebration. But wherever you're at in the world today, I hope you have an amazing weekend, and good seeing you.